It's now time for Ask the Expert, my friends, with 757 House Whisperer, online at 757housewhisperer.com. And we're live here taking your calls and questions this hour, so join us at 627-7979. We're here with Perfect Home Guy Tommy Hines and, of course, Mr. Chuck Worley of Worley's Home Services. Welcome, Chuck. How are you?
Great. This is great to be here. Great to be here.
How's it going, guys?
Yeah, it's going to be a fun night. It's going to be a fun night. It's I've been kind of preparing the show tonight. We had a man down tonight. We wanted to definitely keep Mike Davenport and his wife Vicky in our prayers. She has fallen ill, and we just want to pray and uplift them that they are going to be doing better. He thought it better to stay with his wife tonight than to come and visit me and Tommy on the show tonight.
We'll take care of it.
Yeah, so Mike, I just want to let you know you were in our prayers tonight, and Vicky, get better. So she had a fall. So anyway, we are on House Whisperer tonight, 757 House Whisperer. We've got a couple things that we want to talk about. I've got a couple trivia questions. I am coming in hot with the 70s and 80s MASH. I can't think. What would that be called? A sitcom? What would that be called?
Yes,
MASH?
it was a sitcom. Yeah,
it was a war sitcom, I guess. I came up with a couple trivia questions. Now, this is in my mama's favorite show, like absolute favorite show. We did not miss MASH any time it was on. My mom was madly in love with the actor.
Who was her favorite character?
That is the trivia question.
Oh, that's true.
That is the trivia question.
So
a little secret, he was the chief surgeon. Don't say it out loud, Tommy. The chief surgeon on the MASH unit. The chief surgeon of the MASH unit. You can either give his full name.
I think I know who that is.
His first, second, and third name. Or his nickname. He had a nickname. So I'll take either one of those. And then Loretta Swit, what was her nickname?
That's an easy one.
That is an easy one. That is an easy one. Or the years that it was out. And no cheating, no GTS, no Google that stuff, right? So it ran for a lot of years. It was actually the longest run show, I think, up until Friends. Mm-hmm. I think Friends passed them. So, but anyway, before I say, because I wrote all the answers down, before I say the answers, those are the trivia questions. Loretta Swit's nickname, she was the actual, that was her name. So what I'm looking for is her nickname or her full name. So she was the head nurse, right?
Correct.
So the head nurse. So, and I'll give you a hint. She was kind of blonde. She was a blonde bombshell, as we would call it back in the 70s and 80s. But yeah, that's our fun for tonight. Anybody that calls in with the answer, Starbucks card for any of our callers, like we do every week. I just think it's great when people call in. It makes the show just so much more fun, active with callers. The big thing that I wanted to talk about tonight was, obviously, we got Tommy Hines, the perfect home remedy guy, the money guy. He's got a couple scenarios tonight that he has actually helped a couple of our customers out, which we're really excited about. And then, of course, Mike was going to be here tonight, but it's just going to be me and you tonight.
Yeah, Chuck, we had a 65-year-old senior who actually was a widow, and she has a very low income, under $2,000 a month to live on, and nobody can really live on that low of an income these days. But the beautiful thing is
bread, milk. I mean, it's eggs.
It's tough.
Thank God I got chickens, so I can make my own eggs. But
I tell you, we all need a little help. That's for sure. Well, she got help from 757 House Whisperer because she contacted us, and we went out to her property. You went out to her property to specifically start the estimations on what she needed with some electrical work, some duct work, vent work under her house, and long story short, it's a lot more money than she can afford to throw into her budget. But the good news is that with my 21 years experience in mortgage and financing and all the different options that there are, we can get all of her improvements done, to include maybe even some updates to a bath or kitchen if she wants that, and get it all done, and she will not have a mortgage payment at all. She'll just pay her taxes and insurance like she's always been doing. And for those, some of you may not know what that is, but there are reverse loans that are not eligible for everybody. This particular homeowner, that is what Tommy Hines, Perfect Home Guy, I am going to help her get her home perfect again in better conditions. Unfortunately, lost her husband a couple of years ago. So and no other family in the area. So
there's so much maintenance that needs to be done to houses.
Absolutely.
That people just kick the ball down the road. It's
because
a roof,
they can't
it's leaking.
afford it.
Yeah, I mean, nothing is cheap anymore. I mean, just the material. Thank God this is not where it is now. But a couple years ago, it was literally every week I was getting a different price on copper.
Sure.
I'm like, what in the heck? Yeah. This has to stop. But it has slowed down. But nothing is cheap anymore. But the goal is to kind of help people, obviously, get the right contractor in your house. I do want to mention our other contractors that we have on our show. They're not here tonight, but Albin with Albin Homes does anything with home remodels, new construction homes. If you have any of those questions, you are more than welcome to call in tonight. The Jason with Pyramid Roofing, any type of architectural, any brands, roofing, slate. He is a pretty sharp guy. He's a fun guy. I do enjoy hanging out with Justin, excuse me. And so we're having a good time tonight talking about HVAC, plumbing, electrical, crawl space encapsulations, attic, insulation, any problems that you're having in your house. I want you to call in 627-7979. That number again, 627-7979. Call in with your questions. I know we got a couple calls already on MASH, so it must be some people my age or your age.
And Chuck, I heard that houses talk to you. Is that right?
Houses talk to me.
Yeah.
There's not much about a house that I can't figure out. It's finally this long in the tooth that I am is starting to pay off, because any problems that you have been having, I probably have seen them or fixed them. You know what the biggest problem is? I don't know if some of you guys are on my Facebook page or 757 House Whisperer, or we're on YouTube now. We're actually we're actually copying these shows on and putting them on YouTube now, so you can go back if you have questions and stuff. So the goal is to help people of the 757 fix their houses. And the biggest problem in houses are bad contractors, right?
Yeah.
Going back, I can't tell you how many times I've seen a 3-inch or a 2-inch PVC pipe, and they literally cut a joist out so the PVC could fit, and they can't figure out why. They got this whoop-de-whoop in their floor. I went and looked at a house actually 2 days ago, and just had normal settling cracks, foundation crack, just normal settling. Of course, someone's out there trying to sell them a $40,000, thing. And I'm like, it's a 1955 house. Of course it's settled. And it literally had settled on every corner of the house. Like it was even almost. So I don't know. I just think that people are out there trying to sell stuff that doesn't necessarily need to be sold. And I want a customer to come back to me. So if I do a good job in heating and air conditioning and I take care of them, why in the world would they not call me back for plumbing?
That's why we're on the air, because not only do you have those 20 plus years experience, and your dad taught you everything, a lot of everything that you know, but and
he would say he taught me everything that I know.
I'm sure he would say that. But you've surrounded yourself with a team of other contractors, me as a financial professional, to provide solutions. We are education providers. And when I was doing Perfect Home Remedies show last year, we come up with solutions that you clients can't know about. You just don't know about them because they've been around for a long time, but only 5% of realtors or loan officers really understand what I know for 21 years, and that is every home can be the perfect home. And perfect home is where love lives, Chuck. Did you know that?
I did not.
When you have your home just right, you are in love with it, and you want to stay there. There's a lot of people. There's even a survey that was done of 50-year-olds who are going to, the majority of them, 50% of them are going to stay in their home through their retirement years. They're going to require you and 757 House Whisperer contractors to update, modernize, maybe even make it handicap accessible. And that's what we do affordably, so people do not let me make this clear. You don't have to come out of your budget or your retirement account tens of thousands of dollars to do these renovations and these improvements. But they cost that much, y'all. They cost tens of thousands of dollars. So we've got finance solutions that make it so that the improved value of the house is what the money comes from, and you don't have to save the money.
That is fantastic. That is fantastic. So I do want to take the time to thank our callers last week for calling in. I think it's weird. Every week we'll have 8 callers or we'll have 2 callers. I'm trying to squeeze them all in or one. But please call in and answer. Remember, why I'm asking you to call in and ask questions. Every person that calls in and asks a question about your house, you are not the only person with that question about your house. I mean, about your house specifically. Mm-hmm. But when you call in and we answer the question that you have about your house, whether it's a roof or a gutter or it's siding or HVAC or ductwork or whatever it is, when you call in with that question and we answer it, not only you are helping hundreds of other people, listening and helping them fix their house. So you're not only just helping yourself, you're helping others.
We do it every time we're on the air.
We do.
We have some callers.
Hey, we do have some callers. All right. So who do we have coming up first? Who do you want to get to? I guess who called in? Marcy first?
Yep, absolutely. More open phone lines, 627-7979. Mike, Margot, Russ, hold on the line. Marcy's first. Welcome, Marcy. Hi.
Good evening. Hello.
Hello.
Okay, you want to know who?
So you had a trivia question to one of the 4 trivia questions. Can I hear you?
Okay, Loretta Swit was Hot Lips Houlihan.
What was her full name and rank?
Oh, and rank? Oh, my gosh, she's a nurse.
I'm just putting a twist on you. That is absolutely her nickname. Absolutely. I was just testing you.
Oh.
Do you remember?
No, I don't.
Hey, do you have any? What's your last nightmare on your house? Have you had anything fixed on your house lately?
We got a new disposal this week.
Okay, that's good. Any issues with the house at all?
You know, about 2 years ago, my husband and I moved into a condo so that we could kind of age in place and have much maintenance-free living as possible.
I completely understand.
We've been fortunate so far that nothing is breaking.
Well, if you give Mike your address, I'll mail you out a gift certificate for $55. If you have any service repairs or whatever, that'll be a little bit cheaper to get it fixed. But thank you for listening to our show. We really do appreciate it. Thank you, Marcy.
So much.
You're welcome.
I enjoy the show.
I would do it.
Have a good evening.
Russ?
Yeah, absolutely. We got Russ in Chesapeake. Welcome, Russ.
Hey, how are you doing today?
We are doing well. Evening. So who's the MASH surgeon? It sounds like you know.
Oh, yeah, that's Hawkeye Pierce.
That is. You know his full name?
Gosh, was it Benjamin?
It is.
No, I don't know if it's... Yeah, okay.
It is. It's Benjamin. You know what his middle name was?
I'm not sure I know his middle name. Was it Franklin?
It is. Okay, good stuff.
Okay.
So it is Benjamin Franklin Hawkeye Pierce. My mom's favorite actor, Alan Alda.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was the chief surgeon, and she made me watch that every single week. Every single week.
Oh, that was a great show.
It was a great show. It was a great show.
Watch it all the time.
So did you have any issues with your house or any questions about your house that we can help you with?
Yes, sir. I did. I've got my house was probably back in '84, and it's a brick house. But the windows, I seem to have some issues with the window sills. You know, is there something that I should, or if I get somebody, can they replace just the sills? Or if I've replaced the sills, I've done that before, and then I'm still having some problems. Should I put some type of
house wrap
on there?
Have you wrapped them? Like, I know you can wrap what is that word? We need Mike here.
Yeah,
It's not Tyvek. It's sheet metal. It's like it's
coil.
called wrap-in coil. That's
coil.
what it is. So
are your windows aluminum?
No, I have not done that. They're wood windows.
Okay. So thermal insulated windows probably might be a good idea. And if they are, water is seeping down around. Sometimes I know I just wrapped. I just had my windows done, obviously by Mike at CVP Custom Vinyl, and they did a fantastic job. And then wrapping the windows with a coil stock. That's the word I was looking for, a coil stock.
So they would wrap. Can they just wrap the outside of the frame of it? Just leave the windows where it is?
Yes, that is correct. It's two different jobs. Obviously, if you're ever going to replace your windows, you probably want to do it all at the same time because that would just.
Oh, I know, but I've got 34 windows, so that'd be too big. My wife won't let me do that.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, that is a big one. But great question. We appreciate the question because I know a lot of other people have that same question out there. Can you do that, or can you replace the windows, or whatever? Make sure I got your address so I can mail you out the gift card.
If he needs an estimate, we can.
Yeah, I can get Mike to give you a call.
Yep.
And he can come out and take a look at that for you.
That'd be fine.
All right.
That'd be fine.
Hey, thanks, Russ. I appreciate the call.
All right. Thank you.
Miss Margot. Is that right? Yeah, Miss Margot.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I am well. So you got a good question for her. Answer to our trivia question.
I did, but someone already answered it.
But she didn't have her. She didn't know her rank, and she didn't know her first name or last name.
Margaret.
She just said. She didn't say. She just said hot lips. Well, do you remember her? What's it called?
Yeah, she was Major Margaret. I was named after her, actually.
Oh man, that is awesome.
My family loved that show.
My mom made me watch it every single week.
Every single night. It was on repeat, black and white. It didn't matter. We had a black and white television growing up. So.
Oh my goodness, that is so. It was Major Margaret Hot Lips.
Houlihan.
Oh, you got it, Tommy. Houlihan was her last name. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Hey, do you have any issues with your house?
I have several. My biggest concern was I had recently had my roof replaced, and they took the fan out of my attic when they did the roof.
Did they put a ridge vent in?
They never put an attic vent back in, nothing. They just disconnected it, put my roof on. And ever since they did my roof, I noticed towards the edges of the roof, there's like little places like holes or peeling now, or the wood is rotting.
Yeah,
and
we need to whoop that roofer.
Issues.
Yeah.
Everything. I've lived in the house for 18 years. It's a 1962 tri-level. And
I lived in a 1962 tri-level.
I have gutter issues. I have windows. I had replaced my windows back in 2008. I mean, the windows, when I replaced them, was supposed to cut down on my heating. It hasn't. It has to cut down on my air conditioning. It hasn't. My crawl space looks crazy. I've got so much wrong with it, I wouldn't even know where to begin. The doors on the garage are awful.
I can come out and take a look and just kind of give you I like to come out and look at houses and just kind of give you, since I'm kind of the house whisperer, right? As houses talk to me, I'll kind of give you a list of, hey, this needs to be done first. It's a kind of not a scope of work, but what is that word? Yeah, triage list. All right, you need to fix this before you fix that. Because if you fix this before you fix that, you're going to have to go back and fix that. So I like to kind of come up with a list of, all right, this is what's important. This needs to be done. I was looking at a house actually this morning that they had ductwork was absolutely horrific. It was 1960s ductwork, and they're talking about insulating their attic. Well, that's great. Now I blow in R50 insulation up in the attic, and it's all over the ductwork that's leaking. So now the ductwork starts sweating, start getting condensation on it. So really the right thing for them to do is to replace the ductwork first and then do the insulation. So you don't want to get the cart before the horse, I believe they say. So a sequence of operation, that's what I was looking for.
Margie, how much longer are you going to be in the property, you think?
I have a 50-year warranty on my roof. My kids are 1 year away from my last one turning 18. So I don't plan on going anywhere. I love this house.
Okay.
Well, good for you.
Yeah. I lived in a 1960 tri-level house. Trying to heat and cool that thing was not fun because it's hot on the third floor. It's cold on the first floor.
Yeah. Well, 757 House Whisperer is going to make it a perfect home for you again so that you're going to love it even more and have the energy efficiency that you need. So Chuck and his team will get together with you and put some numbers for you.
Yeah, and we can, like I said, come up with a sequence of operation. Like, what do we need to do first? Before we do this, we'll do that. So
so if they want to message me, I'll message them, and then they could just message me back as well.
And that's on 955-9415? Yeah, 95. That the 955-9415 is our main office, and you can call that or text that. So 955-9415, or just give your information to Mike, and we'll give you a holler after.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you. And then I guess we got Mike before the.
Yep. We've got Mike in Hampton. Welcome, Mike.
Hey, Mike, got some answers?
Excuse me?
I said you got some answers for the trivia?
Yeah, I sure do. On the MASH, it would be Major. Well, you already got it, but it's Major Margaret Houlihan, otherwise known as Hot Lips.
That is correct. That is. I don't think there's a.
She was most guys' favorite character.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was the blonde bombshell. I don't know. Was she must have been after Kennedy's girl, right? What is her? Monroe. I could think of Monroe. So she's the second one. But yeah, do you have any questions about your house?
No, I'm good to go.
All right, that sounds good. Well, thank you, and I appreciate you calling in.
No sweat. Bye.
Yeah, so quickly approaching the bottom of the hour break, halfway there, but still more open phone lines for 757 House Whisperer this hour, 627-7979, or you can contact 757 House Whisperer directly. Call 955-9415, 955-9415.
Yep, and we will see you after the break. Right?
That's right.
So
we'll be right back. Welcome back. 634 here on this live Ask the Expert show. You're listening to 757 House Whisperer. Go online for more information or to schedule that free consultation at 757housewhisperer.com, 757housewhisperer.com, or call 757-955-9415. We'll repeat that number before the end of the show. We're here with Mr. Chuck Worley and Mr. Perfect Home Guy Tommy Hines. Welcome back, gentlemen.
Definitely call in 627-7979, 627-7979. Any questions about your house? Houses talk to me. Thanks for reminding me of that, Tommy. Yeah, there is not much about a house that I can't figure out the problems in it. So heating and air is obviously one of our specialties, ductwork, crawl space encapsulations, mold, mildew, any type of issues like that, attic spaces, spray foam insulation, cellulose. I will tell you my least favorite insulation is bat insulation in a crawl space. The nickname for that is called the Holiday Inn.
Yes. The rodents love it.
They do. And then what follows rodents?
A lot of other odors.
Little slippery things.
Yes.
Yeah, little slippery things. So I actually, that 955-9415, there is actually a text component to that. I had a customer text me today and ask me to ask her question on the air. So I am going, it's a long-winded one, but I do appreciate the text questions too. You could call in or text. But she has a old boiler that she converted to a tankless boiler and hot water heater, which, by the way, is a phenomenal thing to do when properly installed. Mm-hmm. During the transition, they had 5 thermostats in the house with their regular boiler, and I guess converted that down to 3 thermostats. Now the house noticed that upstairs is uneven, upstairs is turned off. Then the heating company came out to look at it. Which in my humble but totally accurate opinion was the wrong heating company, but they informed that the upstairs unit was actually controlled by the thermostat in the TV room downstairs. All this is telling us is that there's a lot of issues with the controls on this thing. So,
and choosing contractors is risky.
I mean,
is it not? Except if they go to 757 House Whisperer, we have vetted these people. So we're going to refer you people that have been vetted, and you don't have to have that risk anymore.
Yeah, they indicated the thermostat upstairs bedroom was controlling the baseboard heat to the sunroom, which is a different floor. So all this is saying is that, like I said, this is a long text. So what basically needs to be done is, number one, as I told her today, she needs a fresh eyes on it. Obviously, they come out a couple times, can't figure things out. You need a super boiler tech that is familiar with controls. And when I say controls, what I'm talking about is thermostat controls, 24 volt. So controls, not necessarily the power to the unit, but the actual controls that control all the dampers and valves in that system. So if there was 5 thermostats before, in my humble but totally accurate opinion, I would have stayed with 5 valves. Why? Because it's already set up that way. It's been set up that way since, I believe, I won't go back to the text, but I believe it was 1960s. If it's been set up with 5 valves, 5 zones for, how many years is that, Tommy?
Yeah, that's 40, 50,
yeah,
almost
that's
50
a
years.
long time. Why would you
are.
Change that? Yeah, that's 55, right? I got the golden nickel this year, or 2 nickels this year. But we want to probably go back to the way it was originally. I understand having less thermostats, less headache, but with the more controls that you have, the better it is. Not on a boiler, but on a heating and air conditioning system. I had a guy that had one system, 4,500 square foot house. He's a retired, I think, colonel. Great guy. I've been a customer for 15, 20 years. But he had one system controlling this 4,500 square foot house. He had a sunroom. Well, you can't beat God. Sun gets through the glass, it's going to heat up that room. You're going to need more heating and air in there, or air conditioning in there, than any other room. Room over the garage. Well, you have 2 attics, 2 knee walls, plus the attic, plus the garage, the heat. I mean, so there is a different solution for, let's say, that 400 square foot house versus the 400 square foot sunroom versus a 400 square foot bedroom suite, or a 400 square foot room, a second floor. So all these different rooms are going to have different needs on heating and cooling. So I think it's probably easier to imagine heating and air than a boiler, but it's the same principle. So what I did was I ended up going with a geothermal system, which, of course, back then I think it was 26% tax credit, which was phenomenal for the homeowner. So we ended up doing a geothermal system. They were paying $5,000 a year plus in propane. That's not including her electrical bill. So going geothermal sounded like a really expensive thing until they decided that, well, in 6-7 years I broke even. I still got 10 more years on the geo. The average geo that I see is 15 to 20 years easily.
And
why?
Extremely expensive.
They are expensive.
Or
up front, up front, they are extremely expensive to get in. Once you get them going, everything's running fine. But we ended up putting 5 thermostats in this lady's house in Chesapeake. The original call was she was cold in her kitchen. That was the only call. That was the problem. So I go in there, start looking around. Actually, it was a referral from my dad. But so we go into the kitchen. What was happening was she had a soffit on the front of the house and a soffit on the back of the house. She had no trees and 5 acres. So the wind was coming in the front of the house, going into the front soffit, literally no insulation in between the floors, right? Because it's first and second floor. So so the cold air would come in, and she had recessed can lights, right? So the wind comes in the front of the soffit, 12-degree air, 10-degree air, imagine, goes through to the back of the house, goes out the back soffit. Remember I said recessed can lights. So what happens? It's sucking all the heating and air right out of the kitchen. So this kitchen is hot during the summer and cold during the winter. How do you fix that? Well, number one is spray foam, seals everything, right? So we ended up pulling out all their insulation. And the house was probably 18, 19 years old. Pulled out all the horrible installation that was in with the insulation, spray foamed, sealed it all up, put in R50 cellulose on the upstairs, spray foamed the backs of the walls of the. She had like a big it was like a big Cape Cod, but you could literally walk down the front, and everybody knows what a Cape Cod is, right? In Norfolk, you got the small Cape Cods, got the dormers out the front, really small houses. Hers was identical to a Cape Cod, except you could literally walk on the front of the attic, and you could walk from one end to the attic to the other on the back of that room. So it was really a great. So we ended up spraying the backs of that wall. So that room became extremely efficient because she didn't have 3 attics, one above and then the 2 on each side, right? Spray foamed everything, sealed everything up, and we end up spray foaming everything, putting in a geothermal. Her propane bill went away. Right, I think they kept gas logs, but propane bill went away. So $6,000 a year gone. Then she goes to geothermal, 4,500 square foot house, $130 a month.
Wow.
To heat, cool, water. I mean, we ended up encapsulating her crawl space too. $130 a month for 4,500 square foot house.
Did y'all hear that? Chuck just saved that client, thousands of dollars a year just in energy costs.
Just in propane.
Just in energy
let alone the
costs.
utility bills went down.
And this is why 757 House Whisperer is on the air, because every one of you out there, if you don't have those kind of problems in your house, you know somebody who does. So you should call in for them, ask questions. Get Chuck and his team of people out there. Some projects require tens of thousands of dollars to get that done. And if you need financing, Perfect Home Remedy, guide you to the right solution so you don't have to drain savings and you don't have to do anything except reap the benefits of your improved perfect homes.
And that's not including they were comfortable for the first time in 18 years.
There you go.
So I had a thermostat in her master bedroom, a thermostat in her sunroom, a thermostat in her room over the garage, thermostat on the first floor, thermostat on the second floor. Is that 5? That's 5 thermostat. And the master bedroom suite had its own thermostat. So one system, 5 thermostats on the house. So when her son moved out, how much does a room over the garage run?
None anymore.
Yeah. I mean, she keeps it, you don't cut it off, but you keep it, 69, I mean, during the wintertime,
you need it,
you just, you keep it at 65 during the, and those dampers are not completely closed. So there's always some air leaking into those rooms. So that air leaking into that room is going to keep it 65 without even that damper to call it, that thermostat. But each room, each zone has its own thermostat, and you're able to control your entire house with one system.
It sounds like the extra cost of a thermostat pays for itself many times over.
It does.
And the poor lady who talked about having her 5 taken down to 3 is suffering the consequences.
She just texted me, the kitchen is cold too.
So,
that is funny.
I'm sure somebody else out there listening has similar problems. Call us at 627-7979 and tell us about your issues. Tell us about what's hot, what's cold, what's not right in your house, and we will probably have solutions for you.
Okay. Yeah. Real quick break, and we'll be right back with more 757 House Whisperer. Get a free consultation scheduled online. Go to 757housewhisperer.com, 757housewhisperer.com, or call 757-955-9415. That's 955-9415. And we'll be right back right after the quick break. It's News Talk 790 WNIS. There it is.
Does anybody remember that theme song? That was a great show. Oh, there's Houlihan. How do you turn this thing off? All right. Hey, we're back. We're back. I thought that would be fun to bring in MASH theme song. I guess that's what it's called, right? Theme song. So, hey, we got a couple questions that I've got some homeowners texting me. Nobody wanted to call in tonight, so I got some text. So, this is from Brother Tim at Five Loaves Food Pantry over in Newport News. If you ever want a great food pantry to support, they are fantastic. Anybody that's been over there knows who Brother Tim is. He is a fantastic guy that just serves tens and tens of thousands of people every year. But he called in, wanted to know about particle board flooring beneath carpet. If there is no carpet padding, is this allowed or is this only a commercial application? So the question is, some people have pulled up their carpet before. Has anybody pulled up their carpet and said, oh, man, what's this padding stuff that literally falls apart and you might think it's asbestos, but it's probably not. But it just kind of falls apart on you. And then sometimes you'll pull it up and you'll have press board. Press board is basically, I don't know how you can get cheaper than plywood, but is a cheaper product than plywood that most builders use instead of plywood because it's like half the cost of plywood, right? Mm-hmm. So plywood is the subfloor that you're walking on. I think we had a guy last week that had creaky sounds in his floors when he's walking.
Now, are you talking plywood or OSB?
OSB,
okay.
Particle board. It's got several names, but OSB, particle board, press board. It's
together.
It's glued together. So I'm not mad at the guy that invented that. I'm kind of jealous, right? Because what he did was he saw the sawdust and all these particles of wood. He probably worked in a plywood factory, right? So he got this bright idea that, hey, all these pieces of wood that are just laying around, I'm going to just throw them in a batter of glue and I'm going to press it all together. And now he's a multi-gazillionaire. So I'm not mad at him. I'm jealous because what a great idea.
That probably doesn't like moisture, though. Do you know that?
Does not.
It doesn't like moisture.
I mean, plywood doesn't like moisture either, but OSB, press board, however you want to call it, it's not really made for structure at all, and it's really not a great product. It's a cheap product. But what happens is, so that on your joists on the floor, they lay this down, and that gives them something to roll the carpet out on, right? They roll out the insulation, then they roll out the padding, not insulation. They roll out the padding, they roll out the carpet on top of that. And typically, as long as there's not a lot of moisture, because like you said, that moisture attacks that stuff pretty quickly and it gives way pretty quickly. So the question is it legal to put press board down or OSB down? The answer is unfortunately yes. But it's better to put plywood. Remember, I joke about, a builder will build a different house for his wife than he will yours. That's kind of the same thing. He would never put that down on his own floor because he don't want his wife, creaking when she's walking through.
So, if you don't want to compromise, 757 House Whisperer is the place y'all can go to just peruse the different contractors, ask your questions. We'll connect you with the right contractor that's going to deliver you what you need. That's why we're here.
We are not afraid to answer questions. We really like answering questions. I feel like when we're answering these questions, we're really helping more than just the one person asking the question. So the second, or really the third text that I got today was, why does water pressure in one room, ADD, and I'm also a recovering dyslexic. So you will have to excuse my, this is a private school education that I'm talking with, Norfolk Catholic. Yeah,
I can tell.
But not proud for them, but maybe I'm proud. So why does water pressure in one room have more pressure than in another room? So it could be a couple things. The first thing that I think of is obviously what is the age of the house, right? So I didn't get a lot of details on this. That's why I like you to call in, because I can ask you questions and kind of get to the root of the problem. But the first thing is, how old is the house? If it's 1950s, 60s, it could be a 1/4-inch supply line. It could be a 1/2-inch supply line.
Galvanized steel that's rusted.
You know, galvanized steel does rust.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, on the inside or the outside.
Like clogged arteries. It does not let the water go through to the other side of the house very well.
You could have cholesterol.
Low pressure.
You could have cholesterol in your water pipes.
Yes, you
Did
can.
you know that? Yes.
You need renovation when you have.
So that was the first question. You know, there's I was trying to list every single type of product that we have in the house. Does anybody remember Quest?
Yeah.
Right? The gray, 1990s. It was 1990s. I think it was 91, 92, and 93. They had they got sued and because the fittings were leaking. Well, now here it is 30 years later, some of them are still in houses, which when they were selling houses, I would thought they'd made people fix that, but they don't unless it's actively leaking. But so Quest Pipe, if you have Quest in your house, you definitely need us out there, because it's not a question of if you're going to need us. It is a question of when and how much damage you're going to have.
And insurance companies charge high premiums for those houses.
They do
also,
now.
because they know that they're high liability.
It's not if, it's when.
That's
I mean,
right.
it's literally. So you have galvanized pipe, you have black iron, you got copper, you got PEX, Quest. I was trying to list like all these different types of water lines in houses. But all these, if you have an older house, rust out, we call it cholesterol. Or I call it cholesterol as a joke, but really it's rust inside the pipes. And what happens is it breaks down and then clogs up the pipe, and water basically cannot get by, especially if the pipes are not big, right? So
and isn't it like HVAC systems? The farther away from the source, the lower the pressure.
That is correct. So that was another question I had that I wrote down, was that, is it the furthest place in the house? Because obviously it's like air, water is like airflow, least path of resistance, right? So it's with airflow. I talk about it with ductwork all the time. Of course, everybody has that bathroom in the middle of the house where they used to have an air handler underneath the house, right underneath that bathroom, and literally levitates the grills out of the floor when the air comes on. It blows air up your skirt.
A little too close to the source.
You sit down in the bathroom on the first floor and the heat comes on. By the time you're done sitting down, you're down to your T-shirt because you have this 160, 50-degree air blowing up your shorts. You're sweating your guts out. Everybody that has had that done is laughing at the radio right now.
They need Worley Home Services to evaluate and fix that problem.
Yeah,
tomorrow.
We might have an airflow problem if
it can be fixed.
It can be fixed. Anything can be fixed. But yeah, so piping, obviously, as far as you could have a leak, so pressure could be down. So obviously checking your crawl space, or of course up in your attic or in the walls, you would notice a leak. But in my house, only the lucky, or a friend of mine said, only the lucky see the leak, right? So if it's going to leak, if karma was Murphy is what I was talking about. If Murphy works in your house like he does in mine, it's going to leak in the crawl, not the attic. So I can't find the daggone thing. So that was another thing. You could have a leak and the pressure is not getting high enough to push into that one room. So those are all the kind of things that I would say on that question that we want to work on. Please call in 627-7979, and then please call or text. This week was the week for text, 757-955-9415. Definitely these texts definitely work if you don't want to call in. We're still going to ask the questions live, and we're still going to be able to help other people other than yourself. So I do want to take a few minutes. I know Albin wasn't here. Justin wasn't here with Pyramid Roofing. Mike Davenport, again, prayers out to him and Vicky tonight. So I just want to thank all of our partners. And, of course, Tommy Hines, always a pleasure, my friend.
Perfect Home Guy is here for you and all of your customers because they love you And if they haven't met me, they're going to love me too, because I save them tons of money and I keep their bank accounts fluid. You know, we're one of your high school classmates at the trade show. She's got a friend coming down, wants to buy next to her in Currituck. And we're going to be able to put her and her mother-in-law, going to build a mother-in-law suite, all with purchase renovation that hardly anybody knows about. But that's what you learn here at Perfect Home Remedy.
Well, thank you guys for listening tonight.
Yeah, well done, gentlemen. And again, more information at 757housewhisperer.com, 757housewhisperer.com, or call 757-955-9415. That's 955-9415 for House Whisperer, 757housewhisperer.com. I'm Damian Hall with News Talk 790 WNIS.
The preceding program was sponsored and paid for by Worley Home Services, who's entirely responsible for its content.